go. Yeah.
Welcome along to the second part of our VGAO interviews special. We're going to be speaking to the other half of our bloggers this afternoon, seeing what the future holds for video journalism online. Here they are, and you're going to be hearing from them this afternoon, starting with Alex Dibble. So, Alex, what do you think the future holds then?
I think Tom Chown raised a really interesting point on the blog, which is that at the moment, if someone in Japan, say watching the tsunami coming in, films that footage on a mobile phone and then uploads it to YouTube, they are basically giving, you know, the BBC, ITV, news corporations, news broadcasters the rights to then use that footage for free, for nothing. And so I think there's room for potentially a website which you could upload a video to, but that wouldn't be in the public domain. So, you know, you couldn't just log on and view that video. You'd have to create an account or something like that, which would demand financial payment for that video. And therefore, in disaster zones and things like that, we might be able to see people, citizen journalists, being benefited for the work they're producing. I think there's a potential for that there.
Okay, great. Let's move on to Umar Farooq. Where do you think the future, what has got in store for video online?
No, I think, Ross, what we've seen in video journalism over the last 5 to 10 years has been, well, it's been a dramatic increase. You know, the journalists finding a platform online, and I think the future's bright. I've spoken to lots of people on the blog about the future of video journalism, and they're quite optimistic. I think one area that needs to be explored a lot more by broadcast companies is video sharing websites. You know, I carried out the video watchers survey on the website, and 95% of the people said YouTube is their preferred website, video sharing website, where they like to see news content. But news content from broadcast companies such as BBC or Sky or Al Jazeera or CNN is definitely not on those sites, and they're not utilizing those channels. I think if they actually use sites like YouTube, Dailymotion, Metacafe, they can actually, you know, generate some revenue. Because I recently signed up to this YouTube partnerships program. I upload lots of videos on YouTube, and they've allowed me to put adverts in the videos and make money. So if broadcast companies want to generate revenue, I think that's the sort of area they need to be looking at from the future.
Okay. Right, let's move on to Chris Cregan. Where do you think online video can be explored further, or can be expanded in the future?
Well, just partly to pick up on what Alex said about the progression of citizen journalism and that side of things. I think what we've seen in the past 5 to 10 years is the increase in technology, and it's just become so much easier now for citizen journalists just to get their journalism out there. But what I think that we could potentially have happening that could be a risk to people within the industry is that it's because it's so easy for them to get their own material out, there'll be a lot more competition for people already in the industry, and it'll be harder for mainstream news organisations to compete. And perhaps even in the future we might see, because it's so much cheaper just to outsource citizen journalism, it's going to be harder to fund journalists going out and reporting on the scene. So that's something I think we have to perhaps address, and the NCTJ are already providing courses now for people going into mainstream journalism, so in order to really compete with the citizens, and I think that's something that needs to be looked at.
Okay. Right, last but not least, let's come on to Phil Georgiadis. Where is online video going to go then, Phil?
Well, Ross, I think what's really interesting is we're seeing at the moment a merge between online content and TV content, and it's becoming hard to actually work out where the boundary lies, how to define that. Online video obviously playing a huge role in the Middle East, Libya, Tunisia, Syria recently, and TV news also is now streamed online, so those are quite blurred boundaries. I think that'll continue into the future. People talk about different platforms, multi-platform television and so on. I think platforms are becoming a bit irrelevant now because content crosses between them all, really.
Great. Okay, so there you have it. That's the second part of our VGO series. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.